What is good, guys? Welcome to Let's Cap. It is Ronald, also known as Youcapper from Sportsmemo.com. Got Chris with me at Chris B Cappin on Twitter. Yesterday, Chris, man, we had an awesome show. Munaf joined us late, but overall, man, we killed it yesterday. We talked about a few games, all four. Actually, we talked about all four games, and I think we did a really good job of breaking down each one of those. How was your day yesterday?
Yeah, RC, same. Yeah, we did a really good job. Gave out a lot of good information. I think a lot of people probably cashed some tickets yesterday if if they listen to the show. So hopefully we can keep it going. The only thing I didn't get right yesterday, RC, was Trey Jones. He fell short yesterday. Spurs took his points plus assists over 21 and a half. He just had a bad shooting night, which I can live with. The volume was there. It's not like he ran away from the shot. So I think he shot like 1 for 9. So, and he still almost cleared the prop. It was like 18 and a half,
Yeah,
I think is what he finished at.
it was tight. Yeah.
Other than that, I know we got a lot of Denver stuff right. We were talking about the Bucks, even though the line was moving with Giannis being rolled out. As we did that live, we live capped that because
Yep.
we had just got that information about Giannis. So yeah, we got a lot of stuff right yesterday. I see. Let's keep it going today, though. I think the more information we get, I said this on the show yesterday. I see. The more information we get on these teams,
Yeah.
only the more money we're gonna make. So let's keep it going.
This comment was funny because I thought it was dead. I thought it was dead. That fourth quarter was kind of crazy. I don't know how much they scored. Did they score less than 40 in that
Yeah,
fourth quarter?
I think it was 26 to like 23.
Yeah, that was that was some crazy stuff. Shout out to the chat. Everyone's popping already. Blazers team total under. Yeah, that was definitely one of the looks. The Nuggets kind of trifecta spot there as well. A lot of good stuff yesterday. Hopefully we can do the same today. Today is a bigger slate though, and I haven't been able to cap every single game to the level that I normally want to. Like yesterday, 4 games we capped them to a T. Today, I've only looked at 3 games so far. First one I want to look at real quick, just because I did it at a detail level, was the Mavs game, and I want to get your take on this one because I know you had a different look from it. But Hawks Mavs here, I'm gonna share my screen. Where's it at? Sorry, share my screen here. So we got Killer Sports on the screen. First thing that I wanted to look at is just Mavericks as home favorites this season. 16 and 14, so 16 and 4 straight up, 14 and 6 to the over. At the line today, I know it opened at 3.5. Now it's down to 2. So we're kind of looking at the Mavs here to really just win. I mean, it's pretty close to just having them win. And right now, 16 and 4 as home favorites. That's pretty convincing to me. One thing that I was looking at specifically was their team total, the Mavericks team total here at a high level, a 115 average only. But if we go in and we say, I gotta get my notes up. If we get them at 220 or greater, I didn't know straight up 7-2 against the spread, 8-1 to the over. Now you're seeing it at 124.1 for the most part. And today's team total is at 117 and a half. So a lot of things. So that's obviously pointing to the over for me, team total wise. I know this spread here is kind of pointing to the Mavs, but I think you're gonna talk about why it might be a spot to kind of shy away from. But like I said, just focusing on the Mavericks here on the team total, the over. Another one here to look at. If we go road in their first game home as a favorite, Mavericks. Sorry, Mavericks as home favorites off of a road game. Another thing to the point to the team total over 122.3, 7-0 to the full game over as well. And then one more to show on the Maverick side. They're coming off a loss to the Blazers, and they're at home. 8-0 straight up, 5-2-1 ATS, 8-0 to the over. Again, pointing to that team total over here. And then one more thing on the Hawks side before we move, we get Chris's take here. But Hawks on the first game on the road, 2-8 straight up, 0-10 ATS, 6-4 to the over. But you can see they're allowing 120.4 in that spot. So for the most part, it really just team total overs for the Mavs from my perspective. What are your thoughts on this one?
RC, a lot of those trends that you got an O at the end, which means that they're undefeated trends. Those undefeated trends, not the ones you want to go against, RC. So I couldn't talk you off of this play at all. Real quick, RC, while you got that up, I want you to look at one more thing real quick while you got that specific trend up. I want you to look at add a previous home win. So just add a W right there and look at the Hawks in that spot.
Damn. Yeah. 0-5 straight up, 0-5 ATS.
Right. So even more comfortable after they've won their recent home game and then they have to go on the road, So I looked at some of the same things. I see you had looked into this one a little bit, deeper than I had, but I couldn't talk you off of it. I think it's a get right spot. Also for the Mavs, if you just look at them from an injury perspective, RC, they get back. Dorian Finney-Smith might be back in this game. Yeah. And Josh Green off the bench, which gives them even more depth. We know Luka's going to do his thing. I also think taking into consideration that Luka didn't play in the last game, so you get a really rested Luka Doncic in this one, RC. He didn't play in that game, the second game in Portland. So even more of a rested Luka in this spot. And then that was pretty much all I had on this game, RC. I do think that, the Hawks have been a little bit better. If we look at the Hawks specifically in their last few games, RC, they have been playing, just a tad bit better basketball. But I'm still not really ready to trust their defense, even with Clint Capella being back. So you see those unders. That's what I was talking about. I think 4 of those last 5 games have gone under the total. And their defense.
And these are on the road too. One thing real quick before you continue. Who was it? Alfonso Scott mentioned a good trend here. Mavs at home versus non-conference teams. Look at that score. So definitely some stuff pointing to the under as well. Good call out, Alfonso. Definitely something to be worried about as well. Chris, go ahead. I just wanted to add
that. That's what I was. Well, that is a great call up, Alfonso. But no, that's really all I was going to say. RC. I think that just because my only hesitation for playing that team total, besides what Alfonso just called out, was just that Atlanta had been playing a little bit better basketball, specifically on the defensive end, which we saw their games going under recently.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I'm looking at it. Even if we try to break it down at a different level, a lot of it is really them struggling offensively. Only one that they went over here is this one. I believe this one, if I remember correctly, this went over in regulation. Yeah, it did. Okay, so they didn't score that much in OT. So this one did go over in regulation. This one would be the only game going over that team total of 117.5. That gives me some pause. But I mean, a lot of the other things too, like I said, yeah, a lot of contradicting trends here. That's true. But for the most part, a lot of things more so pointing towards the Mavericks, at least to be able to do their part. The one thing that I worry about is with everyone coming back, right? Obviously, I think Finney-Smith is known as a defender. Capella is known as a defender. They opened it up at 231.5, and it's gone up. My thing is maybe they're over. Maybe they originally over adjusted on that total, and that's why it's steamed up to where it is right now. That's my opinion, and that's why I think there's actually gonna be more points scored than originally thought, especially with all the even with the defenders coming back. But that's the way that I was looking at this game, was more so the Mavs team total over here. Anything else before we move on?
No, I think you summed it up perfectly. I see. I know we found like you said, some contradicting trends, but yeah, not anything else for me at all on this one.
One thing that I looked at before the show here was Doncic versus the Hawks. Look at his game log here: 18-10-11, 18-11-7, 28-10-10, 27-8-14. So, I mean, really, just teetering on the triple double in every single game since 2021 against the Hawks here. I don't know if it has something to do against him and Trey, being in the same draft class and kind of being that in that sense. But maybe, what do you think about a look here with Luka triple double? obviously because they're coming off of a loss and he didn't play in that game either. So he might be coming back fresh tonight.
Absolutely. That's the only thing I was about to. That's the only thing I was going to add is that he's probably super fresh because he didn't play in the game, and then they got a couple days off as well. And I know Coach Kidd talked about that in the post game conference. Them kind of coming home and protecting home, and getting a couple of their guys back and being getting some rest. He talked about the brutal travel schedule that they've had recently. And Atlanta also had. I don't think they've had the greatest travel spot recently either. I see just a lot of home road, not really having that long homestand recently as well. So yeah, I would look there. A look at Trae Young assists. I think we get the best Trae Young just like we get the best Luka as well. RC. Looking at his game log, he's had at least 11 assists in the last 3 games for Trae Young, specifically against the Dallas Mavericks. 11, 14, and 15 in his last 3 matchups as well. So maybe even looking at Trae Young assists in this spot too.
And one more thing, another reason why I was looking at the over. So we look at the Hawks pace. They do typically play with a faster pace, and the Mavericks lately in the last 5 games they've been struggling on the defensive side of the ball. So one thing that I could think of here, even with the guys, so they're 28th in defensive rating in the last 5 games. Even with the guys coming back, I feel like they won't make a huge impact defensively. Either Finney Smith is going to be on I would say maybe a minute restriction, but he can also be late on rotations on the defensive side of the ball. So if they're struggling defensively, Hawks stay close or even be in the lead, they control this pace here, and makes Dallas have to play from behind. That's another way that I could look towards the over as well, having to push this pace over. All right, well, let's move on to the next one here. Let's move on to one that we were both kind of looking at, but sort of differently as well. Knicks versus the Wizards here.
Yeah, RC. So I can start with this one. So you get the Knicks coming into this game off the overtime loss against the Toronto Raptors 2 nights ago. So 2 nights ago because they didn't play last night. And on the opposite side, you get the Wizards coming into this game off the MLK Day loss against the Golden State Warriors as well. Yeah. Bradley Beal, I think just recently RC got upgraded to. He was already listed as questionable. I think reports came out that he is going to play in this game, which could, kind of, we talk about that kind of messing up the offense just a tad bit sometimes when key guys come back, especially if they haven't played in quite some time. And Bradley Beal, so he is available as of 6 minutes ago to play in this game. So he'll be with the team at in the Garden tonight. But I was looking at the last game, RC. Because these two teams just played each other. They played each other on the 13th. So it was, last week, towards the end of last week that they played. Total was at 220 in that one, RC. And the total in this one opened at 222. So I think, the books are telling us the story there that they're expecting more points. And you look at this Knicks team, they've been a really, really good first quarter, first half team. So I was looking at their team total, RC, in the first half. It's actually pretty low. It's lower than it typically is. It's kind of set as if they're playing against one of the top defensive teams in the league, like a team like the Milwaukee Bucks or the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's only 56.5 is what I actually saw it at. And I got a couple trends that I want you to kind of look at and show the viewers, RC. So, go ahead. First off, if we go to EV Analytics, the Knicks they're 14-8-1 to their team total over when they're at home this season. But let's look at them as a home favorite of 5 points or more, RC.
Oh, on the trends? Okay.
Yeah, just Knicks as a home favorite of 5 points or more. So we see them 8-1 in that spot. If you go to their team total specifically, RC, you see that first half is what I was looking at. And like I said, the line is at 56.5. I mean, they've been the best first quarter team. We see, 66 points right there, RC. I think that's what that number is. So, that's one way I was looking at it. Also, they've gone over, they're 9-1 to the over and have cleared their team total in 7 of those last 9 instances as well, just looking at that trend that you have in front of you. Yeah. Also, I thought having the OT game was something that, kind of take into consideration. But, I mean, we saw it last night, RC. They went to overtime with the Toronto Raptors, and the Raptors scored 74 points in the first half yesterday. So it doesn't really, it might not affect your offense as much, at least in 2023, as it, has, looking at some of these previous trends and some of these previous, queries because I know we get a lot of low numbers. But what I looked at was home favorites that played overtime in their previous matchup, and then let me know when you get that. So home favorites in their they play one overtime in their previous matchup, and that are 6-point favorites or more. And just kind of looking at those team totals, RC.
Yeah. For the team that's a home favorite.
For the team that's a home favorite, I got five of the last 6 hitting their team total over, and 14 of the 18 games have gone over the total as well. So
is this just an in-season trend, or do you are we?
Yeah, I just ran it in season, RC. I mean, we could go back further, but yeah, I just ran it in season.
Gotcha. It's interesting that well, at least the over is pretty decently consistent here, but the spread isn't. Look at like the last 3 years, it's actually the opposite. Let's break that down real quick. Let's go since 2017.
Yeah, let's do it.
But we see a consistent 60% to the over in this spot for the home favorite coming off an OT game. What if they won, right?
Yeah, they lost.
Oh, sorry.
They lost to the Raptors.
So they lost. That brings it down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What if we say they were at home when they lost, right?
Yep, home loss. So site's still the same.
Look at that. It brings it down a little bit to the other way. That's interesting. So instead of it being an over game, the game goes. I mean, it's more even on the total. But if you're looking at this, that still hits over.
Mm-hmm. And I think the other thing take into consideration, RC, is that the Knicks will be an outlier to a lot of these trends with what they're able to do in the first quarter and first half specifically. Like this team has been absolutely amazing at home, in the first quarter, first half. Especially another way I looked at it, RC, was after they've coming off when their previous game was at home and then they're home again. The same way we look at with the way we look at with the Nuggets.
Yeah. All right. So I'm just diving.
Yeah, I see.
That's how we always do it, though.
Right.
We bring something up and we find the edge, and then we just continue to dive into it and see what else we can find.
Absolutely.
So you're saying, sorry, what is the number again for a first half team total?
56.5.
Gotcha. All right. So we go Knicks home favorite. Oops. It's crazy because you know how well they do here. They still don't. Their ATS is 7-9-1. We're seeing 6 here.
They typically give up the points too.
That's crazy.
You see all those overs? You see all those overs right there in the middle, to the right and left? I see up and down.
Crazy.
I mean, yeah.
Let's go in line. I didn't want to the over.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go with I like that look, that first half team total.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you look at the team total instead of the spread again?
Because I don't really trust the Knicks. I see it's the Knicks. I think that they cover. It's a short spread. I think it's like 2.5. I think that they could cover it, but I mean it's the Knicks, man. You never know what you're getting from the Knicks. I just think that even if it's a high scoring game, I think that they end up scoring more to points. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I think the line is a tad bit telling because these teams just played last week. The total was 220.5, and I think it was 220, and I think they pushed. And now it's opening 2 points above that, and we're already seeing money coming on the over. So to me, that seems like the game probably goes over. The one hesitancy that I had, RC, is not only are the Knicks coming off an overtime game, but this is a third game in 4 nights for them as well. So when you think about previous rest equal 1, rest equals 1, previous rest equals 0, and the overtime, I think that's when you start to look towards some unders.
That's a good point. So I have this one that I saved. since 2015 in season revenge. They're on the road, and then this is before the All-Star break. BASB is before All-Star break, and they played within the game that the revenge game is played within 10 games, 10 game time frame, and then they're not on the second leg of back to back. They're actually extra rested going into the next one, so greater than one, so at least 2 days between between their next game here. And that overall since 2015, 64% to the road team, which is the Wizards here. That's one of the ways that I was looking at this one specifically is maybe the point that maybe 6 is too much here. I do agree with the Knicks team total over. The other piece is Beal coming back tonight, right? How does that affect it?
Yeah. RC, we could go look at that. Like we could go to Spodevs and look at them, with Bill in versus with Bill out. Trying to give us a little more knowledge on that as well.
Yeah, let's look at that. Let me just shoot. Nothing significant there. All right, well, let's go to Spodevs here.
One other thing I want you to look at real quick too, I see when you go back to, you can look at it here too. Yeah. It's just that the Knicks, like I think we always talk about the revenge factor. The Knicks have actually been playing well when they've beaten a team already this season, and then the other team is coming in to try to get revenge. So I wanted to look at their team total there too. That was the last point I wanted to make.
Oh shoot, I put not in. My bad. So Bradley Beal in 10-14 straight up, 8-14 and 2 ATS. So they've been kind of struggling.
Yeah.
Road dog 3-8 straight up, 4-6 and 1 ATS. Yep. And then giving up 30 in the first quarter, 27.8 in the second in that spot. What's the total? What's the full game total?
The full game total, I think it was at 222 and a half. I think is what Spodev showed. Well, not Spodev, what Killer Sports showed. I'll get an updated number.
Gotcha. Oh no, it's fine.
224 RC, so it's up. It's come up 2 points already.
Yeah, and everything's still pointing towards their opponent team total over first half.
The spread also dropped from 6 down to 5, RC. So it seems like you were right on that side.
Yeah. Oh, that one I might have to dive deeper into a little bit more, but for the most part, your first half team total over makes a lot of sense.
56 and a half just seemed a tad bit too low for these teams collectively, I see.
What's their pace like with Bradley Beal? So if we go 97.85, and we say without. They play slower.
Play slower with them, right? Because he runs a lot of the point guard position.
Like ISO, ISO and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That might be the reason why. If it's a slower paced game, then they would probably play a little bit tighter. That's probably the reason why it goes down. I mean the line is going down. And we know the Knicks tend to the Knicks tend to kind of lay flat in the second half, especially when they have a big lead in the first half. So
get in and get out, I see.
Yeah, I'm saying that's one thing. That's one thing with the Knicks. Also with the Nuggets too, get in and get out. But I mean, lately they've been fine. All right, well, that one.
One more. I see real quick. The Knicks this season revenge. Knicks already beaten their opponent already this season. Is what I wanted to look at, just far as team total wise as well.
Mm-hmm.
See that they're still scoring in that first half as well.
Yep. Huh. Average margin 10. They're really killing the first half.
Yep, that's what I want to focus on, RC.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you take it already? Team total over?
Yeah, I took the 56.5, minus 105.
What else is there? Anyone else? Anyone else have a play on this game? What are you guys seeing? 56.5 does team. Yeah, it does. Well, I would lean towards the team total over with you. And then also I still want to get there. I want to find a way to get there with the Wizards. But you said it's moved already?
It's moved down to 5 is what I see it at. You see a 5?
Oh shoot, it did. Well, what news are we not seeing here?
Nah, just Bradley Beal getting confirmed in, RC. I think that's what it was. Remember I told you it just came out 6 minutes ago.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so it moved a line. I feel like he was probable to begin with.
He was, but I think confirming that, because the other thing to take into consideration, RC, he was probable for the game against the Warriors on MLK Day too, but he ended up not playing in that game.
Yeah. Sometimes I want to just stay away from games where a key player comes back or is injured for the first game.
I'm definitely with you there, even though I feel like it's too many points. I think we aligned on this game. I wouldn't take the Knicks to win by 6 points, but I also like the Knicks in the first half.
You know what? What's Knicks' schedule looking like? Hawks. They lost to the Raptors in OT. What about Knicks? Sorry. Off an OT game.
2-3 straight up. Only 2-3 against the spread, but they still hitting that first half for me.
2-0 to the over if they're the favorite. Yeah, man, that first half team total looks pretty good. This might be a live spot. If I do take the Wizards, it might be better to just take a live spot. All right, well, let's get I think we've been on this one for a while. Let's go with what other game you want to talk about here?
Oh, let's let the chat. We can do the chat on Memphis.
Any games you guys want to look at? We can live cap. We could look at whatever we got going on here.
Yeah, whatever the chat want to do. Real quick, my analysis on Memphis, RC, is it's kind of similar to just a tad bit similar to what we talked about with the Nuggets yesterday and the Pacers. The Nuggets in the Blazers.
Wait, hold on, Chris. LJ, well, the first one that pops up is Memphis Cavs. So let's just do that.
Okay.
Let's just do that fully. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So my thoughts on this one, real quick, RC, is just that, this Memphis team, I think the Cavs team is better, than a 7-point line, of course. But Donovan Mitchell was already listed as doubtful in this game. He has already been ruled out, which is why I gave this play out earlier so people can get the best of the line. Injured player theory could come in here, but I'm not really too worried. Just because the Cavs, if you look at them as a home dog, one of the things I looked at, well, you're already on the Grizzlies, RC. So one of the things I looked at for the Grizzlies is when they're a home favorite, and I looked at the date being after December 1st, because that's when they, kind of got Jaren Jackson Jr. back, and he's kind of acclimated to the offense. Desmond Bane also came back. And this team's been, they've been kind of rolling. I just kind of looked at that the total margin, RC. I think what we see right there is about 13 points that they're winning by on average. A couple of those games they didn't cover, but when you factor in non-conference games, let's look at the non-conference games when they're home favorite, RC.
Including the date?
Yeah, including the date. Yeah, that's fine.
4-0 straight up, 3-0-1 against the spread, 3-1 to the over. Home favorites in non-conference games since December 1st.
So we know that they
margin right there.
That's well, the margin only that big, RC, because they smacked up the Bucks. Remember they beat the Bucks that bad. But at the same time, I was looking at the margin, just the margin of victory, RC. They beat the Hawks by 25, they beat the Pistons by 11. So I think, the same way we talked about the Denver Nuggets, I know a lot of people didn't want to lay that 7 with them last night. Some teams just win by margin, right? And I think a shorthanded Cavs team that doesn't have the offense, specifically on the road, their offensive rating goes down. You're taking away their best player. Somebody has a 30% usage rate in Donovan Mitchell. I think that they struggle to score today. And I think, Memphis, they don't struggle to score at home. So I like Memphis in this spot, RC. I also looked at Memphis' last home game before they go on the road, because I think they've been home for a couple games in a row. But if you look at Memphis with their next game being away, they typically play well in that spot as well. We talk about teams wanting to play well before they go out on a road trip, and their last game being home. So I like the spot for them as well. Then I want to break down the Cavs side as well, real quick, RC.
So you just mentioned Grizzlies at home when their next game is on the road. 9-2 straight up, 8-3 ATS, 7-3-1 to the over. Still by margin there. What's the line? 7.5.
7. I think it went to 7.5. I gave it out at 7 earlier. What I took it at.
Gotcha. So after the Mitchell news, it only moved a half point.
I think it was already kind of baked into the line, because I thought about that as well. I don't think that they would have been 7-point favorites if Donovan Mitchell, was listed as questionable or probable.
So one thing real quick. The reason why I jumped real quick to the Cavs side to see who their next opponent was, because yesterday we saw the Clippers. They were down like 12, 13 points with a few minutes left, and typically teams, I feel like, wouldn't have taken their starters off at that point. And they did. I feel like they just kind of gave up because they have a game today. And I was looking at the Cavs to see if they had another game today, or tomorrow, if they're on the first leg of back-to-back games, or who they are playing. And
they play the Warriors.
The Warriors, yeah. But
revenge spot too.
Exactly. So I was thinking, if the Grizzlies are up late, they could just give in and give up at the end, and then the Grizzlies take the opportunity to just keep that big lead. So it makes sense to me. Grizzlies might step on these guys in this spot.
One other thing I think to take into consideration, RC, is when we think about teams having to cover these big numbers, these like -7s, -7.5, right? We don't want to get backdoored. So you really want to rely on, even if the bench does come in, you want it to be a strong bench. Memphis has one of the strongest bench with Tyus Jones and Brandon Clark being in. Like, those guys can keep the lead, right? Like, so I'm not really worried about that if, the Grizzlies jump out and get like a 15-point lead in this game. I just don't see the offense for the Cavs. So I'm glad you went there, RC. That's what I was going to go to. So looking at the Cavs as an away dog this season, this is a team that I absolutely love. I love backing the Cavs, but not on the road, not as an away dog. This team's only 2-6, as you see on the screen. If you look at those losses, RC, 4 of the 6 losses have been by double digits. So that to me helped me to get over my fear of wanting to lay 7 points with Memphis. You know what I mean? Yeah. Memphis wins by double digits and the Cavs lose by double digits, right? So I like the spot.
That's a good point. I'm trying to figure out why they lost by so much.
What game is that, RC?
The Mavs. I mean, I'm trying to figure out why the Mavs lost by so much in that game.
I think they were just locked in for that one. I think I remember that one. Were they coming off a win? I think the Cavs might have been coming off a loss. Yeah. Also, RC, if you look at the Cavs after a win, they don't do well in that spot. Let's look at them after a previous win. You can take the away dog part out.
Okay, gotcha.
But I mean, even with the away dog part, 1-3.
3 straight losses by double digits too.
And away.
Okay. Damn.
That's what I'm talking about, I see.
8 straight non-covers, 8 straight losses.
It'd be tough to get one in Memphis.
Yeah. And for the most part, is their defense that's sucking. I mean, sorry, their offense.
Offense, yeah. They don't score as much. And then you take Donovan Mitchell out. I don't see them scoring more today with just Darius Garland being there.
Let's look at that real quick. Grizzlies. Can you talk me off Grizz team total over? I think we're not able to at this point.
Yeah, I can't talk you off that much. Cavs, RC.
Cavs. Cavaliers not in. Only averaging 109.8. Only one game as a dog. They lost that one by 13 points. Cavs, Nuggets were on the second leg of back-to-back games too. So they beat the Pistons without Mitchell. That should have been good. They beat the Thunder. Lost to the Kings. Lost to the Wolves. Yeah. This one's weird. Kings with a 217 total. Was someone missing on the Kings side?
Yeah, I think that's when Donovan when what's his name was out with the finger injury. I see.
Sabonis.
De'Aaron Fox.
Fox.
Remember when they went on that East Coast trip? I think Fox was out.
Gotcha.
I could be wrong,
so
but
now,
I want to
that
say
makes
he was.
sense then.
Yeah.
Yeah, team total over. What is the Grizzlies team total over?
I think it's like 120. RC. They didn't give it to you low at all.
Yeah. So I mean, if we're looking at these two games here without Mitchell, they're more comparable teams. So let's go. Not non-conference, 1-3 straight up, 1-3 ATS, 2-2 to the over. But we look at Nuggets here, 121, Wolves here, 129. This one you said Fox was out, so they didn't have a full roster, and they weren't going to push the pace without Fox. Thunder here, that's interesting. Well, Thunder plays pretty good defense. And the Cavs were at home, where they play really good defense as well. Yeah, I don't know if I could talk you out the Grizzlies team total over.
Yeah, I think I gave a number that's inaccurate. RC. Mitch gave out the correct number. It's 117.5. So I mean, typically they score 120 points at home. If you look at if you go through RC, look at this real quick. Look at the Grizzlies as a home favorite of 6 points or more. Let's just make it 6 and see how many times they've gone over this 117.5 number. At least recently, I would look at the more recent games.
So 3 straight.
Yep.
And they're smashing over it too, and no OTs. 121, 135, 136.
Granted, that's the Spurs.
So that's good.
Short-handed Suns team too.
I would be with you on the spread here.
I played the 7 RC before I got to 7.5, but I would look towards the 7.5 as well.
I mean, it almost seems like it's a double-digit
game, right? Yeah. I'm trying my best to not talk myself off of these big numbers, because typically I don't like playing these big numbers when teams land 7 points or more.
Yeah. So home favorites against teams with a winning record. Some of
the Grizzlies is home favorites.
If they win, so basically it's like if they win, they're gonna cover the spread.
Mm-hmm.
And I would think that they win here. Any merit to them playing? Wait, any merit to playing them early, like first quarter, first half? I think Grizzlies' first quarter has always been something to look at.
They missed it last game, RC, but I think it was a spot where the Suns came out, didn't want to be embarrassed on national television for the MLK game. I know they finished with 29 points. They lost the first quarter and first half spread as well, but the third quarter was really when they turned up in that game. Can you go to that, RC? How many points did they score in that third quarter? The Grizzlies game, the last game against the Suns. Because like I said, they didn't cover first quarter, first half.
Yeah, I was mad about that one. They just smacked them in the third quarter. 39
to 23, yeah. So maybe it's a look to the first half and full game, just in case they do start a little slow. I do feel like the books are inflating those first quarter team totals, RC, just a tad bit. So where, if a team comes out just, a little bit, not focused and locked in, they will fall short of their team total by a point or two at times.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes it's like maybe we don't try to get too cute with it and just focus on the Grizzlies covering that full game.
I'm with you. I'm with you, bro.
Yeah.
I've lost way too many first quarter bets because of that so far this season.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
All right. Well, I think we're in agreement there. You got me on this. I didn't look at this game at all before the show, so you talked me into this Grizzlies one. But for the most part, we look at a lot of the same things, Chris. So even if I did look at this early, we probably would be on the same thing.
Absolutely, bro. I took your captain style, made it part of my own. I see.
That's all it is adapting and learning and adapting from everybody's style.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love it, and that's why I like your spaces. I know we talk about your spaces a lot, and people who show up, but for the most part, they say a lot of things that we never look at, and you can always add that to your capping if you like
Absolutely.
it. If you like it, I mean, that's all it is. All right,
Absolutely.
well, let's move on to another one here. What was another game that you guys wanted to see?
I think we saw Pacers in there. I see that's a game that I didn't really get a chance to look at, but I wanted to see if I could do something with that game as
Pacers
well.
Thunder.
Yeah, Pacers Thunder. I didn't look at it at all. Like I don't have anything on it. I just know that
Me neither. I didn't look at this at all. So
I
let's
know the
just
Thunder
start
been
from scratch then.
killing.
So we go we go to the Pacers side first.
No Halliburton, of course.
No Hallie. Yeah. And if we look at No Hallie, that started when? The 8th?
He got hurt in the game against the Knicks.
Okay, here. So they lost 4 straight, failed to cover in 3 of the last 4. 3 of the last 4 went over. For the most part, the reason why they did go over was because of their defense. Thunder is rested, two days of rest.
First game back home for the Thunder RC off for the 4-game road trip out east. I think. Remember they they covered against the Heat. They beat the Bulls outright. They beat the Sixers outright, and they beat the Nets outright.
That's the Thunder, right?
The Thunder, yep.
Got you. Let's look at the Thunder side first. Then it makes more sense because we get more data with them since they've only had 5 games without Hallie, right? 5 or 6 games without Hallie this season.
Uh-huh.
Well, they're not home favorites often, but the last 3 instances they won and covered. They won by double digits too. Spurs, Wizards, they beat the Mavericks. Was Luka not there? Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think he didn't play in that game.
No, he didn't play that game.
I think it was the second night of a back-to-back for them.
Look at the over, 7-1 and 1 to the over. All that first half. What's that first half team? What's the first half over in this game?
I'm about to check it right now.
Damn, they're scoring hella. 130, 127, 120, 125.
It's crazy, I see, because at home, because on the road, their defense actually what kept them in the game. Like when they won all those games outright, it was their defense. First half total is 121.5 RC. So they got a juice for us.
What 121 and a half?
121
and
a
we're
half.
seeing like 123, 120, 123.6. That's pretty tight, huh?
Mm-hmm.
But how many of these, if we look at it, this is the highest total. Let's look at 230, greater than, all right, yeah, and brings it. That's still close.
Yeah. What about RC? What about the Thunder coming back home? Because like I said, we did reference that they hadn't played in a while. Yeah, so previous away, same thing. Yep. Yeah. All home teams don't have a flat spot though, Cameron, coming back home. Some teams play well in that spot, but it is something that I check for.
It's tight again. Oh yeah, no. That's team total. Full game. Combined first half, it is over.
Oh yeah, it's a bunch of 30s.
Second half is where it falls flat. It might be that game flow makes hella sense. First half over, second half under. Thunder. First half over, second half under. Let's dive into that a little bit more.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. I see specifically those home favorite wins. Can we look at those? Like those 3 games specifically, just the home favorite wins. Because I want to see.
You're expecting them to win today, is what you're saying.
Well, I just want to see how many points they're scoring because you remember about a month and a half ago, I see we were talking about the Thunder falling behind early in the game, and then they were the best third quarter team. Me and Mitch, I think, brought it up to us.
He did for sure.
Right. But recently there hasn't been a trend. Like the Thunder have actually been coming to play from the jump. So I'm just curious to see what they've been doing in the first quarter and first half, and in comparison to what they've been doing in the third quarter. So better first half.
I mean, first quarter. They are up. Look at that fourth quarter there for their
which is crazy. And you know, the one game that's not on here, I see, is the game against the Celtics. That game's not included here when they scored 150 points without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and they were at home for that game.
Yep. Damn, dude, look at this. These first quarter, first half margin is killing me. All right, let's go to the Pacers real quick. Pacers, and then we'll say, what day was it? The 11th? Let's do 11th. Does that follow the same game flow? Not really. It's actually consistent on both, right? First quarter, first half, second half. They're on the road. Let's look at this one. Bucks. That first half is crazy. It is under in the second half. First half. This is right at 120.
Books ain't giving us no breaks, RC.
Damn, homie. All right, so look at Pacers AD not C. Look at these SDQL guys in the chat here. Let's go. AD and 2-5 straight up, 2-5 ATS, 5-2 to the under. Interesting. They're falling flat in that first quarter. Shoot, do we look at Thunder team total over then?
In the first quarter? I think so. Let's see.
What's the team total first half for?
61.5. That's a lot of points to expect from the Thunder, RC. It's a lot of points.
61.5.
62. That's like elite level offense. That's like Philly. That's like Milwaukee. That's like that's like Denver. Like that's a lot of points, man. Bucks are telling you that they don't expect the Pacers to play any defense in this spot.
Hallie was here in these games. Should have pushed that pace over.
If that's the case, RC, do we just look towards the Thunder first half spread? Because if you go to Spodez and look at the 5 games that Halliburton hasn't played for the Pacers, they only averaging 110 points. And if we think that and they're only averaging looks like 58 points in the first half. Well, they actually collectively they're actually winning the first half, but it's only about a point. So I'm guessing more so like the recent ones, like you said, the game against the Hawks and the Grizzlies and the Bucks, specifically those last 3 games.
These 3 right here.
You got to date it. You got to change the data to the other way around. But yeah, I always bring the data at the bottom so it looks like Killer Sports.
It seems like it's the full game, Chris.
Yeah.
So they themselves faster pace first half and struggle second half.
Okay. You know what? RC, you know why it makes sense? Because Halliburton is their closer, right? Like he's the guy that makes all the plays, that scores all the points for this team as the game goes down the stretch. So that makes a lot of sense.
Everyone's talking. Vaughn talking about Packers. Oh no, he meant Pacers. Okay, never mind. All right, so what do you think, man? I like the game flow that we were talking about. First half over, second half under.
I do too.
It's a lot of points. It is a lot of points. What did we move? What does it move to? So Pacers, Thunder, 241. It's gone down to 239. That's because their second half they suck.
Right. It's probably like that also because the Thunder have actually been playing a little bit of defense. So did we look at the Thunder recently, RC? Have they gone under in their last few games or have they been a team that's been scoring? I know they've been hitting their team total over. You remember you took them last week against the 76ers, remember?
Yeah, I think we took them against the Bulls too. Yeah, I did. Yeah. I took them back-to-back days.
Uh-huh.
I did not take them on. Did I take them versus the Nets? No.
Yeah, I didn't either.
He was out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
But they have gone over though. Collectively, they've gone
Mhm.
over in those games. Okay.
This one is more so because KD. Yeah, no, I did take this one because I lost by a half point. Bum. I should have took the spread on this one instead, but I took the team total. I will, for the most part, this one under just because KD. I mean, the Nets were struggling offensively without KD, like really bad. Man, they covered 6 straight.
Yeah, it's crazy. RC. They're the best away dog team in the league still. Like I mean, they follow right back up where they were last year.
Let's look at them when they're rested.
6-1.
6-1 to the over.
What's their full game team total? I mean, I know it's probably high, but let's see.
I feel like we spent so much time on this one. We better come up with a bet.
I know I'm with you. They're 121.5. I see. That's a lot of points, dog. What's the
Pacers got no defense though.
I was gonna say RC StatMuse Pacers pace without Tyrese Halliburton. Wonder if they played a faster pace or a slow pace.
Sorry, what? Pacers.
Pacers pace without Halliburton and with them.
Normally it shows both. So with 100.4, without 101.2. So they go faster.
They are going a little faster, which makes sense why we see a number that's a tad bit inflated. It feels anyway.
Thunder team total over. How do we not? What is this? All right, at home with 2 days of rest or more.
128.8. That's insane.
Spurs.
Oh, that's because of that 150.
Yeah. So these two didn't go over, but full game went over.
But also, RC, they might be a different team than they were back in November too, right? Like those other two games are more recent.
Mm-hmm. Thunder team total?
121 seemed like a big number, RC. But yeah, I mean, I still would.
What's the first quarter number? 30 and a half?
I mean, I feel like it's probably got to be 30 and a half, right? Let's see. 30 and a half, yep. And it's juiced to the under too. It's minus 130. Juice to the over, I'm fault. Minus 130.
All right, let's go through this again. So 34.8, 35, 31.7. Let's go Pacers 29.7. That's low. Damn, they went under on those.
Without Halliburton, I think they're giving up 30.6, which is right on the number.
30.6 without Hallie?
Yeah, without Hallie.
Bro, there's some way we got to take the Thunder in this one.
No, I'm with you.
Thunder first half money line is the play.
That joint's probably juice, right?
Like 130 maybe?
164. They're a 2-point favorite. Yeah, I mean, they're a 4-point favorite. They're a 4-point favorite. So first half is minus 2.5.
2.5. Damn.
2.5 in favor of OKC. Full game 4.
You could look at Thunder first quarter, full game. It's got to be some way on the Thunder. I can't see the Pacers staying with these guys.
I'm with you.
What do you think, Chris? Damn, that first quarter.
Who are the 3 teams that they beat RC as a home favorite? Because remember you talked about them covering 3 games, and maybe we just play like a spread versus like looking at the total because it is so high.
Spurs, Wizards, and Mavericks.
Comparable to the Wizards.
LJ's like, hey man, just take the 4.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah. It's gotta be that team total. Team total or fuck. I'm like going back and forth here.
I'm right there with you. I don't know, bro. Not enough. It feels like to me. Like
4 points.
it's sharp.
It makes sense just to take the Thunder.
Yeah. I think just take the Thunder too.
Just take the
If you're gonna
Thunder.
play it, yeah.
All right.
That way
Well.
you don't worry about the total
All right. So
because
if
the
we,
Thunder are a better defensive team than the Pacers are.
yeah, I just like the game flow of the first half over and the second half under. I just like that game flow. I feel like that's how it's gonna go.
Cameron says, "Screw it, no play."
We took too much time on this to not have a play, bro.
We done done this plenty of times, RC.
All right, we'll take. I'm gonna take the Thunder -4. Has it moved at all?
I don't think so. I think it opened at 4, stayed at 4. You see a 3.5 on Bet Online and on bookmakers.
I'm gonna think this one over. Let's move on to the next game, and then we'll think it over, or I'll think it over.
No, I will too. Yeah, we
One
spent too
more
much
one more
time, like you
game.
said.
It's already 56 minutes. One more game, and then did anyone else say another game?
Yeah, Eric said, "Can you guys look at the Jazz and Clippers over 228?" I see.
Jazz Clippers. Boom. Jazz Clippers. All right, so I haven't looked at this one either.
Me either. But I know that immediately what sticks out is the Clippers home road back to back. So I would look at them, in that spot. PG also got rolled out, so they're gonna be shorthanded.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm not taking the Jazz. I know you probably not either. RC taking the Jazz laying points at
Road
home.
favorites? No.
Home favorites.
Yeah, home favorites.
Yeah.
So Clippers on no rest. Home to road. Of course it slows down now.
Been doing too good for you, RC. Also, I think it's interesting to note for the people in the chat. I know a lot of people use the SDQL sites. It's really difficult. Oh, Kawhi out. Markel said Kawhi out. I did not see that.
So both of them out?
I didn't see that. I need some confirmation on that one, Markel. I mean, I know if he said it, I trust Markel. He come in the chat all the time, but I didn't see that one.
I feel like Clippers on the road have been an over team. Clippers at home, an under team.
No, I agree. I agree with you there. One thing I was going to say, I see looking at this, trying to query the Clippers is really difficult because they have had so many injuries throughout the season. And when you pull those trends, it's really difficult to see which games that Kawhi played in, which games PG played in, which games they didn't play in together, which games one of them played in, So just something else to kind of mention to the chat. You want to go through and look at those games specifically. I don't see news that Kawhi is going to be out yet, but I think it could happen.
I'm looking at when they're both out.
Unlikely to play is what Mitch said.
Okay. So all right, well, 2-7 straight up, 2-7 ATS when both of them are out.
Those games go under, right?
Margin of 10 points. Let's look at the road.
They can't score. Yeah, I feel like they can't score without both of those guys. They also got Luke Kennard, who's still out. John Wall is still out.
What's the line? 6.5? Is it still 6.5?
I want to say it came down. I see it right now. Yeah, 6.5. Yeah, 6.5. 229 is the total. Maybe a Clippers team total under is what jumps out to me. It's 111.5. The Clippers don't play enough defense. I mean, the Jazz don't play enough defense for me, though.
Yeah. All right, so both guys out on the road. Clippers 1-4 straight up, 1-4 ATS, 4-1 to the over. What's the total?
229.
So this is the highest total for a game. Here's an interesting thing. For the 4 overs, they were dogs. This is the one that they were favored and it went under.
Like the way you think, I see. Okay.
Zubac
Sounds like a Clippers team total over.
Clippers team total over?
I mean, not Clippers, Jazz team total over. Over 118.5?
118.5 makes sense to me. Let's
What you
look
see?
at all right, let's
Three
go
of those
back
four,
to
right?
so we go four straight team total overs on the second leg of back-to-back games for Clippers opponents.
Okay.
All right, let's dive into that one. So we'll go Jazz. Favorite averaging 119.3. Man, that fourth quarter is terrible for those guys. Failed me yesterday, game before that. Yeah. Okay, so we got 119.3. That's over the team total.
Yeah.
So we go favorite 6.5. They're covering these here.
They cover the big ones and lose the small ones, right?
Yeah, that's weird.
Team totals are.
Hey, they beat the Clippers earlier too.
Uh-huh.
Hold on, let's look at conference game. So they're not covering, but they're still getting over that mark here.
How do they function RC against opponents that's playing on the second leg of a back-to-back?
We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere.
Okay.
So we would say over or the Jazz over.
I say Jazz over. Yeah, I think the Jazz team total over. I don't want to get injured. The Clippers.
Hey, look at this though. Look at this though. All four of their opponents went team total over by a pretty decent margin too. Do we just look at the full game over then?
I don't trust the Clippers offense if PG and Kawhi not gonna play, RC. Just because they don't got Luke Kennard. John Wall not there.
That's a good point. Yep. That's a good point.
That's why I was leaning Clippers team total under.
I forgot about that point. All right, so let's just take out the favorite anything. No, okay. All right, well, man, Jazz team
RC, real quick. Go back one more. I want the Clippers and the Jazz game that you see right there. Can you click on that? I want to see who played in that one. If PG and Kawhi.
That's whack.
Oh man,
they always do that.
What date was it on? I can find it.
The 30th, November 30th.
November 30th. Okay.
Jazzing over.
Interestingly enough, RC, when they played, PG and Kawhi didn't play in that game. I'm looking at it right now. But I don't think the Clippers went on the second leg of a back-to-back, were they? Clippers had 1 day rest. Jazz had
no.
Oh no, they did.
It's the exact same situation.
Wow. Yeah, no PG, no Kawhi. They did have they didn't have Luke Kennard. They did have John Wall. John Wall played big in that game. He had 26 points and 5 assists in that game. So they'll be without his services.
John Wall was rested yesterday, right? So he should play today?
No. He's not gonna play. He's out for like 2 weeks with abdominal strain or something.
You trying to come on?
I know. So you give us a look, bro.
Hey, your green room shows went for like 3 hours. Get out of here. Let's do. If you got Ski and Munaf or anyone else who's in that chat, you guys have the link if you guys want to pop up. PL.
Rudy Gobert just got rolled out.
Suns. That's gross. All right. Jazz team total over, huh?
I think it's Jazz team total over. I see that one seemed easier to me than that OKC game.
That was pretty quick, huh? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I like that Jazz team total over. I'm writing that one down.
118.5?
118.5.
All right. I think that's it, guys. That's a hour and a half or an hour now. So let's go. Let's go through the recap then. All right, so we went through. Sure, I don't remember what we went through already.
We
So
went through the Knicks and the
uh,
Wizards.
Hawks. Oh, we went through Hawks Mavs too, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were looking towards Hawks Mavs. I was looking towards the Mavs team total.
Over 117.5, right?
Yeah. And then we went through the Knicks Wizards. And then all right. Actually, how about this? Sorry, I'm trying to switch it up, but just go through your recap real quick.
Yeah, real quick. So so specific for me, Knicks first half team total over 56.5. I played that one already. Like the Knicks in the spot against the Wizards today. And then the Grizzlies laid the 7 with them before the Donovan Mitchell news. Still like it at 7.5. I think Donovan Mitchell news was already kind of baked into the line because the Cavs wouldn't have been 7-point dogs, with him potentially playing in this game. So I think that's the reason why I only moved half a point. Expect close to a double-digit win for the Memphis Grizzlies being at home. Also, their next game is on the road. They typically play well in that spot. And then the last one, obviously, we just came up with that Jazz team total over 118.5, bro. I like that one a lot, man.
Yeah, I like that team total Jazz 118.5. 118 and a half. Man, I haven't placed a single bet yet, but Mavs team total over. The Grizzlies one you talked to me into, the Jazz team total 118 and a half there. I still want to look at I think the Nuggets is in the spot to play them as well. We talked about we didn't go over that game, but we always talk about the Nuggets playing the second straight home game and how well they play there. And I think they get it done today for some reason.
Especially revenge game, RC.
What was that?
Revenge game, because Timberwolves were the last team
Wolves
to beat
won,
them.
yeah.
I told you Rudy Gobert just got rolled out.
Gobert did?
Mm-hmm.
Damn. I might get there with the Nuggets some way. It might be I one way that I saw was the first quarter too. First quarter or the full game for that Nuggets. Jokic that's what I'm worried about. Jokic, because this is second leg of back-to-back games, and we're not really sure who's gonna sit for these guys. Because Jamal Murray was supposed to be questionable. He was downgraded yesterday. He ended up playing. Oh yes, he just brought up the same thing. So that's what I'm worried about there on that game. So we might get a better number later. And the other one was the Thunder game. We took a lot of time on that one. I do still like the game flow of the first half over and the second half under. And I also think the Thunder get it done today in some way. Those are all the looks that I feel like that we shared today on the show. Any last comments? Anything else?
That's it, RC. Like the spots that we got for today, man. I think we
let's run it back like yesterday.
Yeah, just because it's
this
9
time
games don't mean we gotta find 9. Yeah, right. Definitely got to bet them, RC.
Yeah, I mean, we bet some of them. I took some of them. Obviously, the one that I liked the most, I did bet. But the ones that fucking the Nuggets, I don't know why I got scared first quarter, first half. I did take them full game in the under. I don't know how that went under, but yeah, well, that's what happens. All right. Well, with that said, guys, that's the end of the show. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button before you go. And always, man, I gotta always end with this. Whether you fade us or follow us, it is on you guys to make that call. Good luck with all your actions. Till next time, peace.